Hello, hooligans. Let's talk about HRV, or heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is simply essentially the difference between the distance between two heartbeats. So you might initially think, well, if your heartbeat is 60 beats a minute, that your heart is beating once every second. And it is roughly, but it might be somewhere between 0.7 and 1.3 or 0.8 and 1.2 or something like that. So it averages to once a second, but it is not once a second. So as your body becomes fatigued, your heart is kind of struggling more, and your whole system is struggling more. And so weirdly, the variability becomes less. So, say your average your average distance, well, your average distance is always going to be the time, but if you have a bunch of your heartbeats are like between 0.7 and 1.3 between beats. As you get more tired, it might be 0.8 and 1.2 and 0.9 and 1.1. And so as a result, heart rate variability has become kind of the newest thing that everybody's looking at and trying to figure out what does this tell us about our performance? What does this tell about our fatigue levels? And I would say that the science is there. I agree that it's pretty obvious that HRV tracking of some sort can benefit a lot of people. But there are a lot of caveats with this. One is that it's pretty easy to change your HRV with breathing or with like anxiety. So if you wake up and you're testing your HRV and you're super anxious, your HRV will go down, telling you that you're tired. If you take some really big, deep breaths, kind of like some yoga meditation style breathing, your HRV will go up, telling you that you are rested. So it's tough to get a really, really accurate measure here for some people, not for everybody, but for some people. Then you have the fact that most of the commercially available ways to measure HRV are done with photoplethysmography, which is the lights shining into your wrist from the back of your Apple Watch or whatever. And frankly, the technology just isn't there. And myself and many other people are a little skeptical that it ever will be. It just isn't sensitive enough. And so things like a Whoop or an Oura Ring or an Apple Watch, I don't think the accuracy of those devices is enough for you to make daily training decisions on, even if it was only measuring HRV. But then things like Whoop factor other things into that, which they don't really tell you about, and I don't think they work. And so a question that I get all the time is, should I get a Whoop? Should I get an Oura Ring? And my answer at this point, and it could change depending on advancing technology and algorithms and stuff, my answer right now is no. Don't spend your money unless you are looking for a sleep tracker. So that is my one caveat. If you are looking for a really good sleep tracker that's fairly unintrusive to your sleeping, Oura and Whoop are great. But they don't do much else as well as I would like for you to be making decisions on. I just don't think the data is good enough to influence your behavior, and so then it's useless data. If you do want to measure HRV, you should get a Polar H10 heart rate strap, chest strap, and record using an app like HRV for training. And that's the letter 4. That I think is the best way to measure HRV. Now, again, what you do with that is we're still working on. We're still trying to figure out how exactly do you factor that into your daily training? I'm working on some stuff where it's combining HRV and some other metrics. But if you want good HRV measurements, use a chest strap and a phone. But then you still have to remember, do you do it lying down or seated? Do you do it for a minute or 5? And can you breathe the same way every day and have the same level of anxiety? Yeah. So in theory, big fan of HRV. I think it can do some cool stuff. I think we're still trying to figure out how to actually make it work in the real world. Thanks. Have a good day.